I'm Janice Hossteger. After 3 decades in the marketing business and many years of being an entrepreneur, I've learned a thing or two about marketing. Join me as we talk about marketing, small business, and life in between. Welcome to My Weekly Marketing.
Let me ask you this. When you hear LinkedIn, what do you picture? Maybe recruiters, resumes, lots of people you used to work with, all corporate, right? If so, you're not alone. A lot of small business owners, I think, totally overlook LinkedIn or they feel like it's not worth their time. And I must confess, I was one of those people, even though I am in the B2B space. But really, LinkedIn has become one of the most powerful platforms for service-based businesses to get in front of decision makers and their dream clients. That's why I brought in today's guest, Kayla Ihrig. Kayla is a LinkedIn expert who knows how to use it in a powerful way. She's gotten media features, clients, and even snagged a book deal by posting on LinkedIn. Not only does she use the platform for herself, but she turns to LinkedIn to find experts for articles that she's writing for publications such as HubSpot, Success Magazine, and others. Now, I know you might be thinking that you don't need to look at another social media platform, but before you check out, listen to this episode and decide if LinkedIn maybe isn't worth it for you to look into. Here's my conversation with Kayla. Hey, welcome, Kayla, to My Weekly Marketing. I'm so glad to have you here.
I'm so glad to be here. Thanks, Janice.
So, how did you discover the value of LinkedIn? A lot of small business owners, I think about LinkedIn and they think, oh, it's for the corporate world, or it's for job hunting or whatever. But tell me a little bit about how you figured out the value in LinkedIn.
Yeah, if you have only used LinkedIn as an employee, it can feel like a kind of a creepy meetup of all your ex-colleagues when you open it. That it's just can feel uncomfortable whenever you've been self-employed and you've left that world. So I totally get that it doesn't feel like the cool place to be for a lot of entrepreneurs. But I started posting on there just kind of out of curiosity. I think that a lot of people who do marketing tire of certain platforms. It's kind of an emotional cycle where you're like really feeling Instagram for a while and then you feel burnt out on uh, you know, every platform has its kind of headaches and and then you try something new and not that you give up, but you just keep testing different mediums. And that's how I got into LinkedIn. I was enjoying it as a break from Instagram for a little while. And of course, I had all my old colleagues there. And that was, you look and you think, I'm not really interested in what I'm seeing. Then if you spend more time, and not that I didn't have great ex-colleagues, let's just make sure that's clear. But you don't want to hear about old work projects whenever you've left the company for years. And then I discovered this whole other side of the algorithm where people were creating content for LinkedIn and building whole businesses and brands and finding clients. And it was so authentic and that I just fell in love. And that was back in 2022 that I got really invested. And it's still one of my favorite platforms online.
So you mentioned like publishing on LinkedIn, and I'll get to that in a bit. But when I think of social media, and typically when I work with my clients, I really focus on social media in the awareness stage. Not that it can't be used for other parts of the funnel or what I call the trail to the sale, but is that still the case? Like, do you use it most often in the awareness stage, or do you use it in consideration or the closing? And I know you use it a little different way too because of your job, basically, or your business. But
Yeah.
so.
To market my business, I use LinkedIn really as relationship marketing. So it's less about publishing content that targets people at different phases and points of the funnel and more about meeting people and making connections with. I look at 3 groups of people that I recommend you connect with: thought leaders, peers, and potential clients. And the engagement there is much more impactful. The commenting, the DMs, the hopping on coffee chats, that's a term you'll see on LinkedIn, a 15-minute video chat. That is where it's much less about posting and much more about the conversation.
Interesting. So is that like a feature within LinkedIn, a copy chat, like a video call?
It's
Or
not.
is
It's
it?
actually just a
Okay.
part of LinkedIn culture as it's developed.
Okay. That's interesting. So what do you feel like is really working now on LinkedIn? Like are there
Con-
shifts or trends or something that are really working a lot?
Yeah, comments are the big secret, if you could call it that, on LinkedIn, that posting your own content has a lot of value and it has its place and it's important, but commenting is bigger than your posts ever will be. So whenever you comment, whenever you post your own content, let's say those posts will get hundreds, maybe thousands of impressions. But whenever you spend that same period of time commenting on other people's posts, those will get tens of thousands of impressions. And LinkedIn actually tells you how many impressions your comments are getting. It values comments so much.
Oh, that's interesting. Because, yeah, I think that's true. You kind of get on LinkedIn, and I might throw a thumbs up at somebody who got a promotion or, whatever, or celebrated a birthday or something like that. But I think you're right. And I think the problem that I had personally with LinkedIn and when I'm working with clients is that people don't check it quite as often as they do, say, Instagram or Facebook or some of the other places that they have friends and family on, right? So they tend to check it maybe weekly or, sometimes honestly, I'm not a huge LinkedIn user. So a month might go by before I, go on and start scrolling on there.
A
But
lot of people are like that. Yeah.
yeah. So do you feel like, is there enough traffic on there to eh, kind of make the time for LinkedIn?
Yeah, you're actually touching on something that I think sets LinkedIn apart in a big way from other platforms. And that's that LinkedIn is huge, but it is not crowded. People are not producing content on LinkedIn in the same way that they are on any other platform. So I think the number is, I think it's less than 1% of users post daily. And a lot of people post on their Instagram stories, on other social platforms daily. That's a huge percentage of people who are engaging in that way. So LinkedIn is a stage with a huge audience and not that many people at the mic, if you like to think of it that way. And you can see this reflected in the algorithm that you'll see posts that are old. Every once in a while, the algorithm is testing something, and I'll see a post that's like 12 weeks old on the feed. And that's because there's not enough content to satisfy the demand.
That's really interesting. And I think, that's a good point too, is that we tend to gravitate toward the really popular platforms, knowing that our post gets very little, especially from a business page, it gets very little engagement unless have a big following and so on, or really learn to work the algorithm, right? So the thing that I think we need to keep in mind is that it's a really big pie. So even though only a small percentage of your audience might be on LinkedIn, that's still a lot of people, right?
Yes. And you might be noticed by other people that aren't potential clients as well. I use LinkedIn to get clients. I'm a marketer and an SEO writer and a journalist. So I use LinkedIn to find clients, and I also use it as a writer for these publications. For example, I write a lot for HubSpot, and I need to find experts to feature in stories. And I use LinkedIn. It's my best tool for finding people, but a lot of people's accounts are not optimized. They're not, if you are an SEO writer, you need to say that in your profile so I can discover you. It's also a search engine. And then your
Hmm.
profile is a landing page for what you do. And even if you haven't used your account lately, I bet you would be shocked to see how many people have looked at your profile. LinkedIn will tell you that number in the last 90 days. I think I would encourage everyone to go check that number after they're done listening. And you might be very surprised how many eyeballs a stagnant LinkedIn profile is getting you. And even if you just improve your profile today to be a little bit more, I mean, you can even forget attractive, just current. Is it reflecting your current offers, current freebies? That is a huge leap forward in what you're doing with that real estate.
So I want to ask how to optimize a LinkedIn profile. Like, what should we be looking at? And also, years ago, I was told that you need to have 500 connections to even get found on there. Is that a myth or is that true?
I want to say that's a myth. I've actually never heard that myth.
Oh,
LinkedIn has
okay.
been shifting away from connection counts and more towards follower count. So if you switch your profile from like a normal individual profile to a creator profile, LinkedIn will allow people to follow you. And that's something I recommend everyone does because you'll get a lot of connection requests from random people that you don't need or want to accept.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
collecting followers from people who are interested in your work, that has value. Although followers are not the end all be all, I think people love to celebrate how many followers they have. on platforms, but I feel like with LinkedIn, I'm bragging about how few followers I have and how much I've gotten with that. Like with under 4,000 followers, I've gotten clients, media features, a book deal, friends. I mean, I feel like I would like to think I'm like living the LinkedIn dream, and I'm doing it with a small account, and I've never gone viral. I think that's just the opportunity at hand that everyone
Mm.
has.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. So talk to me first of all about how do you optimize your profile? What should be on everybody's profile that they might not be doing?
Straightforward keywords. Sometimes you'll
Mhm.
see a tip to call yourself like, instead of just saying that you're like an HR manager, it'll be like an HR wizard or something and be kind of cute. Don't
Yeah,
be cute. You can't
nobody's
find
looking for
people.
that.
No,
Yeah.
no. Whenever I'm looking for HR, and these are specific examples because I've written so many articles where I need really specific experience. I want someone who's managed teams, someone who's over, venture capital, and all these cutesy job titles. Yeah, they lose you opportunities. And focusing on not the amount that you write, but just being descriptive. It's kind of like, it's not bad to approach it like a resume whenever you think of that. Like, what did I do in this role? What results did I get? Just keep it simple. I think that that's the biggest mistake people make, is that they say way too much, or they start telling like a narrative when people aren't reading your job descriptions. But it does help add keywords to your post. And if someone from the media like me is looking, I do look to see, oh, okay, they did manage paid ads, they did manage team, they did oversee 100 million in venture capital. You need to have some quantifiers on there, but your job description or your past experience is not the biggest thing to focus on, but you should fill it out so you look like a real person. There's a lot of fake accounts on LinkedIn. Those are actually one of
Mhm.
the 3 questions I ask whenever I'm looking for someone to feature in the media. I'm asking, are they real? Do they actually have the experience that I need? And oh gosh, what's the 3rd question? Now that's embarrassing. I have them written down. Oh, and can I contact them? Because not
Okay.
everyone checks their LinkedIn every day. I'll get messages from people. I'm like, I really need to get a response by end of day tomorrow if you want to be featured in this magazine feature. And 3 months later, they're like, oh man, is it too late?
Mm.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it's too late. So having your
Yeah.
email and your contact info. I know people think that they're going to get spammed if they add their personal or their work email. Spammers can get your email anyway. So you might as well be open to the authentic opportunities that come by.
That's a really good point. So what about business pages? Like, so I have a personal page, of course, and then I have my business page, and I feel like it doesn't get the engagement at all that my personal page would get. You know, if didn't update on my personal page, it's going to get a whole lot more engagement. Do you feel, is that just my perception or is that actually the way it is?
No, you're right on the money. People are much more interested in what individuals say than what companies say. That's kind of inherent. I think a lot of us feel that way.
Yeah,
Like Bill
right.
Gates, sure, tell us what he's saying, but Microsoft, who's going to read that? It's a
Yeah,
lot less compelling. So I would not focus at all on a business page and focus on you and your personal brand. So that's what you're really pushing. And it's not your business, it's you as the individual that stands in front of the business you've created, and not pushing
Mhm.
your business. Like sometimes people will put in their name, Kayla Ihrig, founder of Writing from Nowhere. It just be Kayla Ihrig. That's me, by the way. That's in case anyone forgot. That's what I'm referring to. Just be yourself. And also don't put stuff in the name section anyway beyond your name, or your account can be suspended because they don't want you stuffing in your company
Oh,
in your
okay.
name. I put an emoji in my name, and I could have had my account accidentally suspended for that. I didn't. It didn't happen to
Hmm.
me, but one of my friends works for LinkedIn, and she told me, uh, you can, if it didn't happen, you can leave it there, but don't add another emoji because
Okay.
it can be,
That's a
yeah, that
flag.
can be an issue.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. So, what mistakes do you see that a lot of small business owners are making on their profiles that maybe push away potential clients?
I think that they're failing to share the really big questions, like answer those big questions first. What does this person offer? Oh, they're a social media market agency, but which platforms and how do I see their packages? It needs to be very easy for people to see what do you do and how do I get in contact with them about it. So having a freebie, if you have one, displayed really prominently on your banner and in your headline, and then the first link in your feature, or maybe you want to skip the freebie and it goes straight to discovery call. Having that really clear, what should someone do if they want to work with you? Don't make people guess or struggle.
Yeah, it cuts down on the friction if you have something available right there. So they don't have to go find your website page, click over to it, see what's on your site, and try and find something just to find out more about you. That's a really good tip.
Yeah. In the featured section, I should say it's like the pinned posts on other platforms. So those are the top links that you have. And that also your banner, those are the prime real estate on your account, and your headline, just to kind of outline the terminology. So the headline is in addition to your name. So whenever you comment on someone's post, or whenever you comment at all, whenever you show up on people's feeds on the home feed, you're going to have your photo, name, and your headline.
Okay.
So for example, my headline is Kayla Ihrig, freelance writer, get a free LinkedIn audit. So I do LinkedIn audits from the perspective of the media, helping people be more attractive for these features. So that's I display that very prominently, but you can put that whatever you want right in your headline.
Okay. Yeah. So it's basically your title.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's not a job title. I mean, you can say founder of something, but I focus on, for mine personally, what am I doing? I'm a writer, and I might be reaching out to you because I'm writing and I want to feature you. This is how I use LinkedIn, so that's how I've shaped it. But it should reflect what's most important to you right now. And the headline can and should change. It's not chiseled in stone, and it's very normal to update that as you have new offers.
Does your marketing feel like a giant game of whack-a-mole? Like one day it's Instagram, the next day it's emails, and somehow none of it adds up? Then I made something just for you. It's called the Marketing Clarity Quiz. And in just a few minutes, you'll know exactly where you're stuck with your marketing, where your gaps are, and what to focus on to finally move your business forward. When you take the quiz, you'll get personalized results that will tell you what your next steps need to be. So stop spinning your wheels. You can grab it at janicehossteger.com/quiz. That's janicehossteger.com/quiz. Now back to the show.
Okay. So just kind of going off on a brief tangent here. As a writer, if let's say I want my business to be picked up by somebody who's looking for a quote from a marketing strategist, for example, how would I make my profile attractive to that? Just keywords alone? Or should I be following reporters?
You do not have to follow anyone. I would want to be really clear on the fact that this is a real profile. I know I said that earlier, but I don't think people realize how many bots are everywhere. What percent? I don't know what percentage of social media is just bots now, but it is sophisticated. I once had an entire email exchange with someone that was a bot, and I knew that it was a bot because they replied to a very complicated email in like 30 seconds with a whole response. I knew only AI could write that fast, but they had websites, they had a LinkedIn. It was very compelling.
Really?
So that is where I'm really looking, and to see if you're real. I really like to see multiple pictures of you. So not one super glossy headshot. I appreciate seeing multiple photos. And if you go on LinkedIn and you haven't been there, you don't hang out there normally, you'll probably be surprised by how many selfies you see. Just a casual picture. Like a casual picture of you working at your computer on a Tuesday gets more traction than headshots because it feels very real and it makes people feel like they really know you. If they see a new picture of your face every week, it's almost the feeling like your colleagues. I like that to me is the feeling being whenever you're self-employed long enough, you are happy to see the same people hanging out at the virtual water cooler.
Right. So is there a place to add photos other than the profile photo, or just to rotate the one photo that you have each week or every so often? Is that what you're saying? Are there places? Sorry.
I would say in your posts, post pictures of your face whenever you're sharing updates or just trying to initiate conversation, starting that kind of relationship building. Like the posting side of LinkedIn which again should never be, it shouldn't even be 50-50 with commenting. It should be less than 50% of what you're doing if you're trying to use the platform. I would encourage you to try to post pictures of your face or your workspace. It doesn't have to be your face. I'm connected with quite a few marketers, I think mostly women who wear burqas, and I don't see their face, but I see their work. I see their eyes. I see their workplace. I see their breakfast, and I still feel very connected to them because they're sharing bits of them. So if you're shy or you're not a selfies person, it's okay. But I would encourage you to share some part of your week or day.
Okay. So that's really different from how it used to be. Even a few years ago, it was like, okay, when you're on LinkedIn, you need to be buttoned up. It's like, don't be taking a selfie and putting it on there. You need to have a professional image taken and it needs to look all spiffy. But I love what you're saying though, is that, and this is one thing that I always say to my B2B clients is that no matter if you're working with a corporation or not, you're still working with people and people relate to people. And so that's kind of what I hear you saying is that it doesn't matter if who it is that you're talking to, you want to be talking to a human being.
Yes, absolutely. And you said something that I think segues beautifully into don't use AI. Don't use AI to write for you on LinkedIn. People don't like it. They can tell. We can tell right away. And it's not the M dash. As a writer, I just want to say that M dashes are normal to use. I'm afraid to use M dashes now because everyone assumes it's
Yeah.
ChatGPT. But you know why
Yes.
ChatGPT uses M dashes? It's because it trained on journalism, and journalists use M dashes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a personal vendetta that I just had to get out there.
No, I'm a lover of M dashes myself. And I have noticed that too, that people, or certain words too, that ChatGPT has started using that I used to use. And now I'm afraid to present something like that for that same reason. So that's kind of funny.
We're the real victims here.
Right?
Yeah,
So,
some people will use bots though to comment for them, and it's just really bad, and people block you because nobody wants it on
uh,
their feed. So, just as a
yeah,
little
yeah.
warning, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And actually, yesterday I was on LinkedIn and I had a DM from somebody that said they wanted to get a contract. They wanted a proposal. That's the
Yes.
word. And so I started digging in their profile a little bit, and this was somebody who apparently lived in LA and worked for Gucci. And I was like, I don't think so. Gucci's not looking for a proposal from somebody, in Austin, Texas. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It's easy to spot people who are not real people if you know what to look for. And this definitely just didn't feel right to, yeah, trust your gut, you know?
To address why some people use AI on LinkedIn, I think some people feel like they are not well spoken enough, articulate
Yes.
enough. If you're not a native English speaker and you're engaging in English, first of all, respect. And second of all, no one is nitpicking at all.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
that's what I see in the media world where people are I tell people, I need a quote, but it can't be AI, you have to write it. And then a lot of people use it out of insecurity. Like they wrote it and then they told ChatGPT, please make it sound better. And you don't need to, first of all, it's not making it sound better. It's making it sound generic. And second of all, it's what you say is good enough. I think people feel really insecure. And it is. It's like walking into a networking event where you don't know anybody. And then you just like walk up to a circle of people and chime in. And it will feel uncomfortable at first. And that will go away whenever you do it because you'll get to know people and they'll get to know you. And it'll be authentic and it'll feel like real people that you know. And it won't feel scary forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it goes back to that time where LinkedIn was a very buttoned up place that you really had to talk professionally, write professionally, because you were being judged, especially by recruiters and such. They want to know that you're articulate enough to be able to put a paragraph together. And I met some CEOs who cannot put a decent paragraph together, that really struggle with that part of it. Not that they don't have other gifts, but I 100% agree. I think you turn into ChatGPT, people can tell for sure. And it probably doesn't do you any favors in the long run.
And it atrophies your skills anyway. I
Yes.
think one of the big reasons you'll see a lot of people say that they started writing on LinkedIn every day just to improve their writing. to become a better
Mhm.
copywriter. It's instantaneous. If any part of your job involves writing to persuade people to do something, LinkedIn's the place. You can write every day and you see, is it performing well? Is it not? Are people engaged? Do people react to it? Are people commenting? I mean, it sharpens you incredibly. It's like copywriting class.
Right. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about that a little bit. Now, there's LinkedIn publishing. Is that what you're referring to, writing on LinkedIn every
Whenever you
day?
publish a post, so not writing an article, but just making a
Okay.
post whenever you open up the home feed and it says like, "Hey, what are you thinking?" or whatever it asks you, and then you can post a picture, a poll, etc. Carousels. It has all the formats that other social platforms have, but I would encourage people to start with real photos of themselves or what they're doing and some text.
Okay. Okay. So do you post different content than you would say on Instagram?
I do. It's very casual on LinkedIn. That is my focus. It's focus on conversation. People know the people who I'm connected with already because I've been active on the platform for years. They know what I'm about, and it's really about people. I think just remembering who I am in my work,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
a lot of marketing or connecting people is just remembering that people exist. And a big payoff of LinkedIn is peer-to-peer networking, where back in the day I used to be a Pinterest marketer, and I still do Pinterest marketing, but not alone. It's only like as a part of a larger brand strategy for clients.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
people would tag me, "Oh, Kayla knows Pinterest." That peer-to-peer of people pulling you into conversations. I think the peer-to-peer
Right.
group is one of the most important. I would not focus exclusively on down, not down, but you know what, down the food chain's the wrong came
Down the
across
trail
wrong,
to the
but
sale.
there's like
Yeah.
thought leaders, peers, potential clients. And I would say that thought leaders and peers are going to be a really fruitful place for you. And potential clients will come, but you're not like fishing for them with every post.
Right. Right. That's where it gets kind of annoying when you have a lot of people that uh, ask to connect with you and then immediately send you a message to do business with them, kind of thing, too. So I think that's another reason why, I've been kind of turned off by LinkedIn is that people will just blanket everybody that's on their list or that is in their follower list with uh, trying to make a sale. And it feels icky, right?
Yes, it is a key.
So if someone doesn't want to post every day, right? I'm assuming that most of us don't post every. I shouldn't assume that, but a lot of us don't have time to post every day on any of the platforms. How often should they be posting realistically?
I think that if I would say comment as many days of the week as you can, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, and posting, you could post once a month just to show that your account's active in that way. Posts are not going to be the huge thing. It's not going to bring the masses to your profile the way commenting will. And I actually pulled up a nice quote here. I know I've talked about commenting a lot. It probably sounds like I'm droning on, but Jasmine Alik is one of the top LinkedIn creators. And he
Hmm.
recently shared, wrote this down. Whenever he was growing his account, he spent 95% of his time supporting other posts when he was growing. And he described the result as an unignorable presence.
Interesting. That is a great quote.
Yeah, he's
And
very
and
cool. And everyone should follow Jay right away.
yeah,
Will have a link to creators who are active on the platform who you can follow and learn from and engage. And those comment sections are going to be full of other people who are active on the platform and interested in connecting.
that's that's a great trip because I'd never thought about that before. I like the commenting part of it. Yeah. So, would you say that original content, not necessarily repurposing content that you're putting on Instagram, for example, like on Instagram, when I have a new podcast, I might put a video of our conversation today. Is that something that you would or wouldn't post on LinkedIn?
I think that if you're already active and on LinkedIn, it's fine to post that kind of content. But if you haven't posted anything in a long time and then you suddenly drop a carousel with like 10 tips to improve your website privacy
Yeah.
policy page or something, people are going to be like, huh, what does she talk about? Because people have just forgotten. And it's a little bit like sending an email whenever you haven't sent an email to your list in a long time. Everybody has probably made that mistake at one point where they like ghosted their list for a year. Or maybe it's just me.
No, yeah.
Okay, it's not just me. Good. And then you email it, and then immediately like 4 people mark it as spam. And you're like, no. You double opted in. You just forgot who I am. And now you're uncomfortable because I'm promoting something.
Okay, one last question, then I want to go to like a rapid fire quiz here for you.
Fun.
So, if you could give listeners like one LinkedIn quick win that they could apply right away this week, what would that be?
Go update your profile and make it look like a landing page for whatever you want to book now more than anything. What is your top priority? Make your profile your landing page for that.
Awesome. Love it. Love it. Okay, let's see here. Uh, LinkedIn rapid fire round. Okay, here we go.
I'm excited.
Deep breath. Okay. What's one underrated feature that on LinkedIn that most people aren't using?
Polls.
Great way to get engagement, right?
Yeah, it's fun. It doesn't even have to be super serious. It could be about when you're working. I did one once. Do pets, do they help you make working from home better or worse? That was like one of my top posts of the year. Just getting people to engage in the comments, sharing pictures of their cat.
Love it. Great idea. Connection requests. Do you include a note or no note?
Always include a note, and don't send it from your phone or it automatically sends without the note. Send it from your computer.
Oh, really? Okay. Even if you know, let's say I just met somebody and I know them.
If they definitely know you, I would say to let it go. But if if it's cold, you always need. Yeah. And let people know what you do in those connection requests as well, if I can elaborate a little on that. Say like, hey, I see that you do personal branding. I'm, an SEO writer. I'm really working on my personal brand right now. So I'm really excited to learn from you. It tells them about you without making it about you.
Love it. And it also elevates their status.
Yes, and always making it clear. I'm excited for us to learn from each other.
Yeah.
I always think make it clear that it's mutually beneficial, that you're not looking to take from them. Like you're not going to send a connection request and then immediately be like, hey, can I talk to you about this thing? Don't approach people with your hand out.
Right. Yeah. Get ready to give. Okay. The biggest LinkedIn myth that you wish small business owners would stop believing.
Oh, it's like a digital resume and it's very stuffy. It's fun if you follow the right people. Give it a week of curating your feed with the links in the description and it will feel friendly and fun.
One type of post that you wish people would stop making on LinkedIn.
Oh, gosh. Press releases. Well, I don't think anyone, maybe none of your listeners are. I guess people who share company press releases, like copy and pasting the text as a post. I think that's a little,
doesn't really benefit them and just turns people off. Yeah. Hashtags. Worth it? Not worth it?
Not anymore. Okay. There was a big study of the algorithm and posts with hashtags got less reach than those without. And I wish I could remember the name of the person who did the study. So I'm sorry I can't attribute that correctly, but yeah.
Good to know.
2025, they're not recommended.
They're gone. Okay. But still SEO.
Yes. Making it clear what you're talking about.
In the post. Use SEO in the post.
Yeah, 5 tips for your website, 5 things your website's privacy policy page is missing, right?
Gotcha.
Those are keywords. It's not always like smacking people in the face with the topic. It's also just clear language uses keywords naturally. So if that feels overwhelming, don't overthink it.
Okay. One simple way to get more engagement on your post this week.
Comment for 15 minutes before you post. Kind of prime the algorithm and then continue. Like if you had 30 minutes, I would say comment for 30 minutes, post, comment for 15 minutes to make 30 minutes total.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. A LinkedIn trend that you think is here to stay.
Short form videos I think are probably going to stick around. They were on the platform, then they were gone, and now they're back. So I think they'll probably be here to stay.
One thing that you should never do in a LinkedIn DM, which I have an opinion on this one.
I wonder if we're thinking the same thing. pitch people right away. Oh, I know. Pitch people on the service that they offer. I just got pitched on SEO services. Spend
Yes.
30 seconds. You'll see, I also offer SEO services. We could have been
Right?
friends. We could have been peers. And now I feel like cheap, this cheap DM.
And this might be your own, but your favorite success story of someone that's growing their business on LinkedIn.
Oh, gosh. It's hard to think. I know if anyone, I've referenced him a couple times now, but Jasmine Alik, he goes by Jay. He's a great success story that I think he was a high school teacher in Bosnia. And now he's one of LinkedIn's top voices. And he even did a tour in the US where he flew to the US and went around and had LinkedIn meetups all over the country. And I went to Bosnia and I met him. I was just traveling there and he drove 3 hours to meet me. He was just the most, I thought, on any other platform, if someone said that they would meet me from Instagram, I'd be scared. We're going to meet in a
Yes.
public place. It wouldn't feel
Yeah.
comfortable. But yeah, I think, Jasmine Alik is probably a great success story. Yeah.
That's really interesting. You connected with him on LinkedIn in
Yeah.
advance, and then you reached out to him because you were in Bosnia and you're like, hey,
Yeah.
want to meet for coffee kind of thing?
I found Jay, I was featuring him as a source and an expert source in one of my HubSpot articles, or GoDaddy, one of my
Okay.
GoDaddy articles. And then we just stayed connected and kind of chatted and commented back and forth for years. And then I sent him a message that I was going to be in Bosnia. I think he said on Tuesday I'll be there. And he said, where? And I told him he said, I live on the other side of the country, but I'll be there. And I don't know if it was the other side, but he drove for hours to come. And it was fun. He took me and my husband out for lunch and then he drove us around and showed us the sites.
That's awesome.
LinkedIn's magic. It's pure magic.
Yeah, love it. Where can people find out more about you?
You can find out more on my LinkedIn profile. Everyone can send me a connection request. Let me know that you came from the podcast and I'll accept. I don't accept podcast or requests with no note if I don't know you. So just say hi. And on my website as well, writingfromnowhere.com.
Love it. Thank you so much, Kayla. I have learned a lot, and I know my listeners probably have too. So I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
I don't know about you, but I'm going to be going right back to my office to be logging into LinkedIn to check my profile and commenting on more posts. And by the way, if we haven't connected on LinkedIn, please look me up. I'd love to connect with you there. I hope today's conversation showed you just how much potential is waiting there for small business owners like you and me. If you love this conversation, don't forget to hit follow on the podcast so you never miss another episode. And hey, share this one with a business friend who could use some help on LinkedIn too. After all, a rising tide lifts all boats. For more information about anything we talked about today, visit myweeklymarketing.com/129. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.